Hey everyone, I think we're live.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Just waiting for a few more people to come in and then we'll get going. But GM.
GA, dude, good afternoon.
No, that's messing with things. Hey Holly.
Hey Holly.
All right, everyone in? Cool, okay. The numbers are just still going up, so we'll get going in a couple of minutes. All right. Should we jump into it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Gabor wishes he could swap his green smoothie for pancakes. I mean, me too. Pancakes only.
Pancake Maxi.
We are Pancake Maxis. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. We're really excited to be here and speak to you all. A lot has been happening since last time we connected. I think you'll probably have seen most of our updates on Twitter, but we'll run through everything today. Last time we were here, we were talking about tokenomics changes, acquiring Avari, and moving on to Solana and hyping that I was being total hype girl about that Elon Musk tweet. But as you know, so much has happened. So me, Sid and Quinn are back again with our monthly. And I'm not going to spoil too much. Just want to really get into it. So there's a lot to cover today. Just want to make sure that we've still got time at the end for any questions that you might have. So please do drop your questions in the ask a question function at the bottom or in the chat, and then we'll pick those up at the end. Should probably cover everything in like 45, 50 minutes today. All right, so let's get into it. Over to you, Sid, to share some exciting news from today.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Charlotte. So this morning, super excited to announce we launched the $25 million WETH pool with our partners, Maven 11 Capital. So this is their second pool. They previously started a USDC one back in June of 2021, which saw phenomenal growth. So this pool, again, is going to be lending to crypto market makers, but this time we're changing it up by having the loans denominated in WETH instead of USDC. And so at launch today, the pool had 23 million going out to Amber Group, Orthogonal Trading, Uros, and Bastion. So all pretty well-known names from the market making space. These are all borrowers who had already passed Maven and Maple's KYC process, built a really strong credit history, and had established relationships with Maven. So really proud to see that come together. We have a bunch more borrowers on a wait list. And so whilst we have a small room left for deposits at the moment, that'll be upped over time. And we had up to about a maximum of 2 million come in from the broader DeFi ecosystem deposited into the pool today. Maven 11 is welcoming deposits from individuals and institutions. And so, yeah, huge congratulations to the Maven team for pulling that together. So I think one thing to really call out, so, you know, the very first pool that they started with on the platform had about 19 million back in June. And so that first USDC pool has now 10x'd in TVL. And they've done about 283 in loans, including all the ones that have been repaid. So that's awesome. Record month in February with 68 million issued. And so, yeah, really excited about the new asset class here.
Yeah, it's really incredible. And it's been, obviously I'm quite new here, but it's been really fascinating working with the Maven team and pulling this new pool together. They're just excited, as we are, to expand their business on Maple. So yeah, congratulations to all of the team over there. But you know, that's today's news, but we've also had quite a busy month when it comes to partnerships. So I'll spend a little bit of time just digging into some of our exciting partnerships from the past month. So main one really being Celsius. So Celsius joined us on the 24th of February as our first CeFi pool delegate, and they're lending from an initial pool of about $30 million worth of wrapped ETH. It's the same sort of borrower book of business of Wintermute and Amber. But what's interesting about this one is that they're using the funds from their treasury to fund this pool, and then lend that out. And why they're coming to Maple? Well, they're coming to us in order to leverage our DeFi infrastructure, our DeFi rails, and it just enables them to have a DeFi facing business quicker than they might have been able to do themselves. So really, really exciting partnership. And we worked really closely with the Celsius team, quickly and closely with the Celsius team to get this off the ground, and obviously take it out to market from a press, PR and marketing perspective. And there's a little bit more to come on that as the weeks go by, so we can share more information about what this is and what this means and the direction of travel for both us and the Celsius team. I think we're all interested to know how partnerships like this get off the ground. So maybe Sid, you can tell everyone how it got going with Celsius and the team and what that's like over there.
Yeah, definitely. So really happy to see this partnership come together. It's an interesting one. I think if we step back to, it was probably about Q4 of 2021 that we first started talking about this partnership with Celsius. So I think we really felt there was good alignment on mutual mission to serve markets that traditional institutions aren't. So crypto market makers, very profitable, growing like crazy, but they're falling outside of the realm of traditional lending. And so this is where crypto native lenders like Celsius really, provide a much needed service. And so really, we were really happy that they could, that we could support their business by offering DeFi rails here. And so, again, just reiterating, you have these crypto native blue chips who are growing really quickly, who need the capital to power their operations. And without this, really, the digital economy would kind of be stalling. So these guys provide liquidity on centralized and decentralized exchanges. And so the other thing that stood out was also, of course, Celsius's expertise in credit underwriting and risk management. And so what is happening here is that they're providing that expertise. We're providing the DeFi rails for them to operate that lending business on top of and conduct their institutional lending and credit analysis.
It's really cool. It's like the perfect partnership of coming together. But for all of our listeners here today, tell us more about what you mean when you say DeFi rails, because it's a bit of a new term that we're coining at the moment.
Yeah, it is a bit nebulous at the moment what DeFi rails actually mean. But the way I think about it is that effectively DeFi provides a new layer of payment processing infrastructure and also a way to kind of code up conditions for new financial products. And we think that over time, this is going, probably a lot quicker than many people expect. This is going to basically eat the existing financial system and disrupt traditional banking infrastructure. So if we think about it, what the prime benefits for running a lending business on top of Maple is that we can provide loan origination. So the actual putting together loan terms, dispersing those loans so that borrowers can receive the money, and then having all of the terms like repayments, collateral, payment frequency coded into the base layer of smart contracts there. So loan origination, loan management, and then clear efficiency for anyone who's participating as a lender. They can see who all the borrowers are on chain and see in real time as repayments are being made. So you get that kind of real-time insight into performance that you just don't get in TradFi. So I think that's what we mean here by DeFi rails.
It's really cool. And I think a lot of the conversations that we're having now are talking more about infrastructure, aren't they? Well, obviously lending businesses, but the infrastructure that can power lending businesses. So it's a really interesting conversation. And that's one of the pieces that we'll write up and provide more information on as the weeks go on. But, we're not stopping there with what we have already. So yes, okay, you can originate your loans and manage your loans. But we're not satisfied with stopping there. So we're going to continue building out our product so that any player can plug and play Maple infrastructure in there. We want it to be robust, versatile, and operate faster than any system has ever been seen. So we're going to continue building out notification systems, as well as automating legal and onboarding and KYC processes. That we're starting to look into that now, and it's could be a huge opportunity and really quite fascinating. But more than that, so managing these lending businesses as a lender, as a borrower, and as a pool delegate, we're wanting to build out some dashboards, both internal and external, so everyone can just stay up to date with important events and metrics more easily. And hopefully launch a support bot soon as well, or not necessarily a bot, a very intelligent bot. So customers can access support through the Maple team 24/7 whenever they need it. And these are the sort of pieces that we really, really want to get in place in order to be that dominant infrastructure that everyone wants to use. So that's it, I guess, on that section of talking about DeFi Rails and wrapping up the Celsius piece. I think we're really excited to see how their pool develops over the course of the year. But we have also had more exciting news this month in welcoming 2 other core partners to the Maple ecosystem with a really quite institutional focus, and just making it easier for institutions to come and work with Maple. So Sid, do you want to talk a little bit about both Meow and Anchorage and the exciting updates there?
Yeah, definitely. So looking at the first of these, Meow, we're really excited by this one. These guys, they're providing an on-ramp effectively for corporate clients to access DeFi yields. And this is really good for treasury management. So if you think about it, there are a lot of companies out there that might be at the Series A, Series B, or Series C stage. So they've raised money from VCs. It's sitting idle in their treasuries at the moment. And what Meow is doing is providing them an on-ramp to get into crypto and into DeFi, and then start earning a yield on those treasuries from platforms like Maple. So really proud of that integration. I think over the last few days, we've probably seen another 2 million come in from Meow, which is fantastic. So we're seeing a lot of adoption and uptake among their client set, and really happy to be working with their team. So I think that's a product and a partnership that we really expect to see grow over the next few months. Second one that we're very excited about, and which has been quite a while in the making, is that institutions can now custody their MPL with Anchorage Digital. So Anchorage is a great outfit. They're the first federally chartered digital asset bank, which is a mouthful, but is an amazing step forward for the space. And the integration, I think what's really important about custodians like Anchorage is the level of security and compliance that they can offer to their institutional clients. And that is something that's taken very seriously, particularly as you climb the charts of AUM for some of those institutions who are, managing assets on behalf of clients. That extra security just really makes a difference for them. So this is a huge step forward for us, one we're really happy with, and places them in great company alongside partners that we really love, like Celsius, Circle, and Maker.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And I think all of these partnerships are, it's nice that we're in good company, but also sometimes you're able to stand on the shoulders of giants as well. So I love these partnerships, and they're also quite good for business. So we can also maybe move into giving you a bit of a business update, because each of these partnerships really expands our reach, expands the usability and the utility and the ease of working with Maple. So ultimately, they're good for business as well. So maybe Sid, you might want to share an exciting business update, because we've seen lots of rises in numbers over the past month.
Yeah, very happy to. So quick kind of tear sheet on some of the progress that we've made on the over the last month since we did the earlier community call. So TVL, we're now at it says 733 in the slide, but we're actually at 737 as of 10 minutes ago, and we've now done about 900 mil in loans originated. So this is huge. We did have the target of climbing to 1 bill by the end of March. So I think we've still got a bit of time to reach that goal, and at the current clip we're doing, I think we'll get there. We also saw that chart from Delphi. So Delphi Research Delphi Digital Research is, really puts out fantastic content. and this highlighted the level of utilization that we've seen across the pools. So I think it's been pretty amazing that we've generally hovered like above 80% utilization, and whilst we do have a bit of cash sitting there at the moment, typically we're able to put that to work fairly quickly with borrowers. So I think that's been important in keeping the momentum growing. We also did our biggest loan to date with Alameda. So that's the tweet there by Lucas, our smart contract lead. So that was a single $47 million loan to Alameda, and that actually took the TVL of the single borrower pool above 100 million. So that was a really awesome milestone to see, particularly given we only started that pool back in November. So yeah, really happy with how that's gone. And then Orthogonal, who was of course our first pool delegate on the platform, has now hit and tipped over 275 mil in deposits. And done about 400 million in loans to date. So that's fantastic. We called out Maven's success, so don't need to do that again, but just a big pat on the back to the guys for crossing around 220 mil in TVL and 300 mil in loans originated. I still remember some of the original modeling they were doing, which was, I don't know, I think it was an assumption of maybe like 30 million over the first 12 months. So glad to see that they've smashed that by 10x. And of course, we are now edging towards the goal of 1 billion by the end of this quarter. And we still want to hit 5 billion by the end of the year. So I think that's going to come from a combination of new products, new markets like Solana, and then just continued growth and penetration of the existing market maker industry, where we found a pretty good foothold. So those are kind of the main business updates, business activities. What did we get up to last month? So you can see we got some, a lot, yeah. First of all, we did a mixer in Miami, so pancake breakfast. We had a bunch of our clients come along to, so that was and supporters. So I think that's something we're going to try and do more as we go to other conferences and locations around the world. So anyone who is in the community who does want to attend, we'll try and put up a notice about these. And also, you're not really competing with too many other events when you do the breakfast one. So that's another good part of it. Then we did ETH Denver. So we did a panel hosted by Ro from Genesis, which is really awesome on the future of lending. And then we went to New York. We met a bunch of our partners up there, including Celsius, and celebrated the launch of the pool. And then we actually did a lunch and learn at Blockworks. So those guys are great. They put out awesome content. And they were just asking great questions. So that was really exciting. And then we had International Pancake Day last week. So we did a bit of we did some hand deliveries of pancakes around Miami. So that was awesome. Yeah, who knew pancakes had their own day?
Our day now.
I think we did get an extra 10 mil deposits that day though. So obviously it's doing something.
Yeah, I mean, if you start your day with pancakes and syrup, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what we've been up to. But what's next? We're busy working away on quite a few things, and there's a few of these things that listed on here which are like imminent.
Mining pools. So I think that's a huge new vertical for us. I think the way I think about this is because of geopolitical moves in China, you're going to see a bunch of hash rate move back to the US. We're already starting to see new mining operations formed, and these guys are going to be looking for finance for capex. So we think there's a terrific opportunity there. It is obviously the oldest industry within crypto, so it's therefore the best understood by the widest possible market in terms of TradFi participants. So we think this is a pretty healthy opportunity to try and bring more TradFi into the space. We're doing a brand refresh, which I know Charlotte is very happy about. So stay tuned on that. We'll have Loans V2, which actually went live. So we had that audited by Trail of Bits. This had an easier refinance feature, which was a big pain point for borrowers. And what we are working on at the moment, so the main technical development is on Pools V2. So I think for anyone who's been paying attention in the Discord, you definitely know that impermanent loss has been like a massive pain point for anyone who's holding MPL. So what we want to do is make it easier to deposit to pool cover. You can either do just your MPL, you could do just USDC, or you could potentially do WBTC. But this will, of course, coincide with the release of XMPL, which will allow you to stake your MPL, receive XMPL, and then that will compound using establishment fees and also using the ongoing fees, which are 10% of the interest cash flows in there. And then, of course, Solana. So Quinn's leading the charge there, QB, and we're going to be launching around the end of this month. But I think I will pass over to Quinn to provide a bit more of a solid Solana update.
Fantastic. Thanks, Sid. Yeah, the pressure's on with all the momentum elsewhere in Maple. So just a quick update on the Solana side, I guess, starting on the development, some quite exciting news. We basically finished the version 1 of the smart contracts, received a very clean audit from QuantStamp, which we'll be publishing to the community soon, so everyone can take a look at that, which is great. And then just getting the protocol ready for mainnet, just to give everyone some context. Obviously Maple is a unique protocol in itself on Ethereum, but on Solana, this will be the first under collateralized lending protocol on Solana at all. So there's nothing similar like Maple onto Solana, and Maple will also be the first under collateralized lending protocol to go cross chain. So this is like a very big move once we launch onto Solana. Also, the yields on Solana are quite low. So when Maple launches onto Solana, we can expect quite a bit of activity just from our USDC, SPL, USDC yields that Maple Solana will be providing. So pretty exciting to bring such a quality product to a very fast growing ecosystem. And we've been engaging with the community over the last few weeks, educating the community on our product, getting to know the key partners that want to work with us. So that's kind of been the focus for the last few weeks. And as Sid mentioned, planning to get the protocol out by the end of March. In terms of updates on the lending and borrowing side, those will be TBA to be announced, but we've been talking with some of the top DAOs in the space who we could potentially integrate with, and also are interested in lending to the protocol and working with the same level of tier 1 borrowers that you can see on Maple ETH. So pretty exciting news to come out. So pretty exciting stuff. And then we are also working with a native Solana protocol, SIGA, which is building an options vaults onto Solana, similar to something like Ribbon Finance, which has found quite a bit of success on Ethereum. And this is quite interesting because SIGA is going to be using Maple pools basically to run their lending book. And this is going to be the first time that Maple is going to have an actual protocol serve as a pool delegate versus a fund. So you can basically see that Maple's infrastructure is now being used by protocols in DeFi basically to access liquidity, access market makers, use our trusted brand, and use our software. So it's kind of fulfilling the promise of Maple that we're a software platform that enables people to basically, lend out to different businesses. And in this case, it's an options business using our protocol. So we're quite excited about that and working on a number of different initiatives too that we'll also be announcing soon. So yeah, very exciting news on the Solana front and excited to get that out there and start contributing to the TVL numbers and push that up higher.
It's so exciting and so much has been happening. And I think it's also important to note how quickly both Quinn and Jeff have integrated with the Maple team as well. It has just been really, really seamless, them onboarding, bearing in mind they only joined us back in January. So it's been really good getting to know you and working with you. And me and Quinn have been working on marketing plans, so what it looks like when we launch, but then also how to build a community and how to educate and inspire amongst that community as well. So really, really exciting. And I think Sid mentioned brand refresh earlier, but Solana's going to be part of that brand refresh. What does Maple on Solana look like? What does syrup or Solana token look like? I'm really excited to go through that exploration with you, and it's really, really good. But as well as branding and identity and what we feel like, what else does the road ahead look like for Maple on Solana, Quinn?
Yeah, so planning to launch with a $25 million pool. And still putting together the list of the partners that we're working with on the DAO, borrower, and lender front. And then quickly after launching our first pool, planning to launch a second pool to give people on Solana the access to both a KYC'd, closed pool, access to institutions, and also have the open pools that we've seen so much success with on the ETH side. So really want to basically get the protocol to feature parity with ETH as soon as possible. So there are some initial changes that we're going to have to roll in over time, rolling in staking, rolling in collateralization. So we have a very clear near-term roadmap, which is just get the protocol to feature parity with ETH, get this product that has been so successful on Ethereum onto Solana as soon as possible. So that's sort of the very near-term roadmap. And then continuing to grow with the ETH protocol and adding all the changes in that will come there. And in terms of, goals, setting an aggressive goal of, within the year, basically getting to 1 billion in TVL on the Solana protocol, setting an aggressive target, and that would put us as the #1 TVL protocol on Solana. So I think that that's possible for Maple, just given how high quality of a product it is, and people are recognizing that more and more. And it's particularly, it will be a high quality product within Solana ecosystem where there's not as many projects. So very excited to jump in and get started.
It's amazing, and you've moved at super speed. So I'm excited to birth it into the world with you, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, if you have any questions on Solana, then do just DM Quinn on Twitter or DM the Maple Finance account, and we'll pick that up, or just in the chat, anywhere, we're available. Thank you for that, Quinn. What else has been going on? So another big update from inside the business is obviously on tokenomics. I remember last community call, we were just talking about that we were thinking about it and thinking about the problem space and the opportunity to improve the Maple token for increased utility, really. So since the last community call, we've had many discussions with investors, advisors, and the community. So we posted on Discourse, and actually we took this to vote last week, which has now been passed. But just to take a few steps back, the changes that we were voting on that have now passed include things like introducing XMPL, introducing single-sided staking, and ultimately a token for syrup and that distribution ratio. So really, really exciting changes that bring MPL center to the use of the platform and ensure that it has utility, etc. So that's now been voted in, which is awesome. And I think a record 94% in favor of these changes. So thank you to the community for jumping on this and voting on it. And just so you know, the 6% were abstentions. There was no no's, which is pretty awesome. So you can see the question in the chat from Bobby, when we're going to be implementing XMPL and single-sided staking. Well, that's going to be coming in May, and we're working towards that now. So everything's been voted in by the community, and now we're at work in the back end, making sure that we can launch these in May. But obviously, stay up to date in all of our channels, and we'll be teasing that and announcing that to the community first. Quinn, do you want to give a bit of an idea about syrup and what we're doing there? Because I don't think we've really spoken about syrup and what that means yet.
Yeah, so we can talk a little bit about syrup. Obviously, there's 5 changes of Tokenomics article that was written and shared. So feel free to refer to that also for more detail. I guess the way to think about the syrup token is this is going to be the governance token to govern the Solana protocol. As Sid's talked through a number of times, the reason why we chose to go through a second token route versus bridge over the Maple token over to Ethereum side is because the security risks of bridging, number one, and number two, bridging sort of somewhat defeats the purpose of actually building a Solana protocol where users are still going to be exposed to gas fees and slow times by bridging the tokens over. So makes more sense for us to have a separate token to basically govern this protocol. The way that it's set up is MPL holders will own 40% of the initial distribution of the syrup tokens. That will be held in the MPL treasury, which means that you'll stake basically your MPL tokens and receive that proportional share of revenues from the Solana protocol, from Maple Solana or syrup. So that's like the core part, is that Maple token holders are aligned in the growth of basically a new ecosystem that we're joining. In terms of the launch timeline, mostly what we're focused on is like building this protocol and getting this out and getting users. So I think that's like the #1 focus. In terms of timing, thinking of launching the token, within 3 to 6 months of launch. And the token currently will be, under private sale. We're not going to be listing that in the near term. The reason is because just some learnings from our MPL token days, where basically the way we priced the token affected liquidity mining and everything like that. So we want to have a stable valuation for any kind of liquidity mining or other initiatives that we have. And also really want to basically, if we're going to be selling any of these tokens to external parties, OTC, selling to people who are adding huge amounts of value to the ecosystem, not just to anybody. So that's kind of informed. We're taking the lessons that we learned from MPL into SNPL or syrup. And really our focus though is on building a great Solana protocol and making that accessible to a bunch of users. And I think that this will be hugely value add to the MPL community.
Agreed. And syrup just sounds great.
Great name.
It's such a great name.
We'll have some cool syrup new branding, which I'm quite excited about. A new logo, new branding, and have a whole family now.
Yeah. Oh, it's so exciting. If only I could show you what was going on inside of my mind when we have all of these conversations about syrup and maple. Yeah.
You've got a surprise. Don't like alpha. Don't like brand alpha. Awesome, Quinn. Great update. So let's talk about on the team side. So we are continuing to grow at a pretty rapid clip. So we had a few new elite mates join us over the course of the last month. That's what we're calling everyone on the Maple team in the employee handbook. But we've had our general counsel, so Catherine. So really happy to welcome her. I think she's already started making a splash on Twitter. We have head of growth, Quinn Thompson, who came across to us from Abra and is leading new initiatives like the mining pool. And then we've had most recently head of engineering, Matt, featured there on the slide, who we did a bit of a post about. Strangely enough, does writing left-handed, throws right-handed, and we thought that was pretty unusual. Except turns out there are 4 of us on the team who that is the case for. So not sure what to make of that, but pretty interesting. And then we had, of course, new Rust engineer Julian, who joined us and is the first full-time hire on the Maple Solana team. So I think it's building out the team now to about 4 people, and we think that's going to continue to expand. But Julian, we're really happy to have joined, came across, had prior experience at Adobe and AWS, so really happy to have him on board as well. We are currently hiring, of course, so we have current roles open. We've got community governance manager. So this is kind of like a mix of Discord, Telegram, and governance, forum posts and governance management, which I think it's a really new and kind of interesting space for DeFi protocols, and something that's kind of unique really to DeFi, I would say. So we are looking to find the right candidate for that. But if you do have interest, please do apply. The other one is growth associate. This is probably somebody coming from maybe like a professions, management consulting, investment banking type of background. And that's really going to help the head of growth, Quinn, to work through some of the new initiatives. We're looking for a kind of platform or product manager. And this would be working on a lot of the kind of internal, internal process improvement, and really would be closely aligned with an operations manager. So what we want to deliver is really like tech automation rather than constructing manual workflows. It's really important for us to be able to scale to productize the operations of being a pool delegate. Like we've got 4 at the moment, but if we added another 12, how do we do that overnight? And I think what we would need is really to productize a lot of that stuff. So anyway, product or platform manager and operations manager, two critical roles for us to scale. Team overall is about 29 people. So, I think we've sort of guided that we'll probably be around 50 to 60 people by the end of this year.
It's amazing. And, I put this picture on here specifically because that's Quinn in the water kayaking. And when we were down at our offsite in Florida, and we were doing this, like, basically how to trust each other game on the kayaks. And I think a lot of people were letting go, especially as Quinn was going around. But he's a good sport. He can take it. And that's him, making a splash. I think Patrick also ended up in the water, and so did Danny. But let's talk about that. But offsite. Like speaking of the offsite, we had our first, didn't we, Sid? So it was a pleasure to have everyone down to Florida for about 3 days a couple of weeks ago. And just super good vibes. Do you want to tell everyone what we got up to?
This was good. This was a great week. So it was the first time that it was the largest group we've had to date from Maple together in person. So we went up to Fort Lauderdale. We flew in 17 of the 26 Mapes on the team. We did consume a lot of cold brew. That was probably mostly me. And we did a few things. We spent a lot of time kind of going through product and the roadmap and kind of how we got to, the story of how we got to where we are today. So I think that was really important for context building for new team members. We then did some bonding through things like the kayak trust exercise, and then the sweat and exhaustion of the F45 class, instigated by Quinn. So that was still a lot of fun. And then we did actually a lot of sort of bugs. We had a couple of major bugs that the team worked on overnight. So I think it was like a kind of a 2 a.m. triage session. And then we gave out a bunch of awards. One of the more notable ones being, I think we had the Yeezy for who you would most want to party with. But we also had ones for, the fixer, like who you can just leave in charge of something and they just get shit done. So anyway, really rewarding week. I think going forwards, we'll probably do this every 6 months, and it's really important for generating team cohesion. So I think it's something that's pretty important in the remote teams of today to do.
Yeah, definitely. And I think everyone felt really energized during that week and even in the weeks that follow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. I'm well.
Also, you can. Yeah, and I was going to say, you can see in one of those photos, we had speakers come from our network. So we had like the Meow team came and spoke. In one of the photos up there, you can see we had Nick from Castle Island come and talk about where he sees DeFi and the role of DeFi in the transformation of the financial system over the next couple of years. So yeah, anyway, just really tremendously worthwhile week.
Yeah, and we tried to balance it, didn't we, between bonding and learning and hacking and being inspired. And I think we really hit the right notes on that. So yeah, let's go again in a few months. Exciting. I think we're sort of coming to the end now. So if anyone has any questions, pop them in the chat. I think we've, just to summarize, what's been happening over the past month. Obviously, we've implemented Tokenomics and passed that through. Solana's in a really, really good spot. We've been hitting some big numbers and bringing on some really powerful partners that will obviously take us to that 5 billion over the course of the year. What's next? We mentioned the mining pool, brand refresh, XMPL, Solana, and single-sided staking. So we're going to keep on grinding and shipping and getting those out to you in the next couple of months. Bobby, you have a question. Can MPL holders be involved in the private sale of the Syrup coin? Maybe that's one for Sid or Quinn.
Yeah, I'm happy to fill that one. So we don't actually have any private sale of the Syrup coin planned. If that changes, we'll keep people posted. But at present, it's felt that we'll launch the protocol, keep the token sort of closely, like privately held effectively, and we'll do 40% allocation to the MPL treasury, which you can effectively think of, if you're holding the MPL token, then you kind of have this look through to 40% of the Syrup tokens. But we don't have any plans to fundraise for it because there's not a great need at this point. So I think we keep flexibility there as we see sort of strategic opportunities to do so.
Cool. Let's give it. If anyone else has any questions, your time is now. All right. Well, I think you can, that you just love. Yes.
Love it.
Well, where you can, yes, it's been recorded. Actually, you can access the recording just via the same link, and we'll share it in the appropriate groups. It's okay. You've got to do work meetings. There is a recording. But as always, you can contact us wherever you like on Twitter or Discord. DMs, we'll do it. We do it all. When keep about soon. But GC will tell me off if I say anything that soon. Can we do a Maple NFT drop? Yeah, let's chat. I'm definitely thinking about how to market appropriately XMPL and ultimately Syrup. So nothing is a no. Yeah, let's talk. Let's do it all. All right, guys. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much for attending. I'll share the links afterwards. And as always, let us know if you need anything at all. And we'll see you in a month.
Amazing.
Hey guys.
Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.
Bye.